Good evening, thank you for joining us. We are at the CFA for our pre-season game against Blackpool, and it's half-time. The score currently stands Manchester City 1, Blackpool 1. Joining me to get into that first half action is Mr. Paul Dickoff and Sean Gota. Paul, what was your assessment of the first half?
Yeah, controlled the game, as you would expect. Give Blackpool a little bit of credit. They've made it difficult for City at times. And maybe a little bit more cutting edge. It could have been a bit more comfortable, but some fantastic attacking play. And we're talking about the youngsters before the game, but Cole Palmer and young Edozie for me have been absolutely outstanding.
Well, off that, let's kind of start there with Edozie. Sean, I know you were talking about him as well. He was the first man to score the goal, and it went in very early, and it thought at West Point, well, there could be so many, but it was a beautiful finish, wasn't it?
Yes, I mean, he's pounced on this, and it's Gundogan who just a bit of skill here, gets for the shot, it deflects, and he's just in the right position. He's onto it, but more importantly, he'll be saying to Pep, listen, I've played a couple games now and I'm consecutively scoring, so his confidence will be high. I'm more intrigued. Well, I have to say, this is Gundogan. This ability here on the ball, a good block, but he's just pounced on it as you would expect a forward to do.
But you talk about our wide players getting in the box and with the post. We spoke about it before the game, and as Gundogan's turned and take his shot there, he's actually calling for the ball, expecting a pass. And when Gundogan's shot, he's not gave up on it. A lot of players would have stopped, and he's followed in, and he's got a great goal scoring instinct for somebody so young and for a wide player as well. And there's a few times in the first half when he's got one-on-one, he's mixed it up, he's cut inside, had the shot, which was a really good save. But a couple of times he was on the outside as well, and he's really making the full-back think all the time, which shows you that he's a lot more mature than an 18-year-old.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I seem to keep saying that about all of Manchester City's young players. Their maturity and intelligence kind of far exceeds how old they are. It was a dream start, but then Blackpool kind of grew back into it. And, something that you don't usually see, but it was a foul from Diaz, which meant that we conceded a penalty from which they scored, and kind of difficult really, I guess. I mean, Paul, do you think Diaz maybe could have done a little bit better?
Yeah, but look, a little bit ring rusty maybe, just coming back into training. You see that a lot in pre-season games, and once he gets up to speed in Premier League, he won't be doing that. But the old saying, when you make a mistake, you'd rather do it in pre-season and get them out of the way then. But you've got to give forward credit there. He's done well, he's been positive, he's ran at him, and he's committed him in the box.
And then as far as penalties go, Sean, I mean, it's something that we're not used to seeing as Manchester City fans, a penalty hit the back of the net, but it was quite the penalty, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I mean, Paul and I were smiling because this kid here grabbed the ball. He got it down before the referee was even ready to say, get the legs behind the line, etc. He was ready to take this penalty. He was like, I'm playing against Man City, I want to score. I mean, we were smiling about it.
There was 2 or 3 players that were wanting to take it because they all wanted to score against Man City, but the young Lukes went up there, grabbed the ball, and fantastic strike for it.
It's important to say that, because you can sit this and you're kind of comparing that. You go, why am I not seeing Diaz as he was at the end of last season? But like you're saying, I think a little bit for Gundogan as well. Maybe in the season he'd have done that turn and scored, but it is just them finding the rhythm, finding the pace, and as you say, actually getting back up to speed, which is what these games are for.
Yeah, what you find, I mean, we see the sprinklers on, because as we saw towards the last 15 minutes of the half, the pitch was getting a bit dry, so it's being watered so the ball can zip about, they can move it a bit quicker. A couple of times you've seen the ball just get stuck between players' feet and they're not being able to move the ball, so the players will be wanting to come out to where it can be zipped around.
But it's games like these that Gundogan and Diaz need. They've only been back in training a short space of time. You can train all you want, you can train every day, but nothing prepares you for games like getting match fitness under your belt. And although they've played in the Euros maybe a few weeks ago, they've had a little bit of time off. And as this game goes on, and obviously the game Saturday, that's what they need to. We spoke about it at the very start. You've got to be there ready for the first game of the season, and this will help them.
It's probably then actually why we're seeing, maybe we're going to show some clips now, kind of Mahrez and Cancelo, who have managed to play kind of all our pre-season games, come back a little bit longer. They are the two probably looking the most freshest, and their link-up play just seems to be getting better and better each game. So I guess there's no surprise there then, is there?
No, there's not. And they've been back in, they're up to speed with everything else, and both of them are so intelligent. Great ball by Cancelo there. Riyad, he loves making that little run in short to spin in behind, and then whenever Riyad comes in off the line to get the ball, that's a trigger for Cancelo to then go, and it must be a nightmare for the full-backs and the centre-halves to pick up, because the movement's so good and the quality of the final ball's so good as well.
And you spoke about this, Paul, actually those rehearsed plays and those rehearsed movements, I mean, they've been linking up now together, for a year and a half. It'll be hopefully, coming up to 2 soon, and that counts for everything, because they're doing things probably without even thinking about it with each other.
Without even thinking. But what I've seen is a couple patterns, and it looks as though Pep is asking fullbacks, it looks specifically like how we're going to work the ball out, and that's with the fullbacks tucking in, and it allows that centre half to then pass the ball directly out to the wide player. And we're seeing Mendy being tucked inside. We're also seeing Cancelo sort of stuck inside there. We see the clip there. And that's what it creates. And a couple of times I've seen that where we've been on the break to pass that ball down the side, and all of a sudden they're explosive. So I can see the first phase of it, a couple passes were made straight from Mendy or Cancelo. They've been cut out. But we're seeing this little triangle being formed with Ake, Fernandinho, and Mendy. And it seems as though once Fernandinho gets it, it then releases and we break the line and we're into an attack.
Yeah, I think.
And it's off the training ground. There's little triggers within that. As soon as Riyad comes off the line, that's Cancelo's trigger to go. If Cancelo stays out, if Riyad stays out wide, like Sean's saying there, that's when he tucks in and goes and gets the ball. And they mix it up so well that it must be so difficult to play against.
Let's look at some of them youngsters that we mentioned at the top, Paul, from Stand Out For You. Begin with the goal scorer, Edozie, and I think we can actually bring up probably some of the moments you touched upon here now. He was absolutely dynamite, I think, in this first half, and gave the fullback a torrid time, which, Paul, you know a thing or two about, but he, like you say, was making him think all the time.
Yeah, he does, and obviously this is Riyad on the other side. But yeah, you see here, he'd already took him outside a couple of times, and the fullback's expecting him to do that. And there he showed his football intelligence by mixing it up and coming in. He's right. The couple of times previous that the fullback's actually showed him the line because he's right-footed, and he's not been scared to take it at him, run at him, use his pace, and then cut inside across of him. So he's, as I said before, somebody so young, it's really good game intelligence from him.
Some really lovely skill, and as you said, goes on the inside. I think this next clip we're about to show, Sean, is what Paul was saying there. This was when he takes it over on his left now, just when this clip finishes here. Here we go. Beautiful bit of skill as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed. A little change of pace there. He sucks in Sinclair. That part there, I think he has enough time to find a blue shirt. And maybe, I don't know if it's because the ball slurs up and therefore he doesn't get the pass accurate. But again, he'll be pleased that it's gotten across the fullback, and then it's just about finding that blue shirt to say, there you go, tap that in. But been impressed with him. Again, he's been scoring goals in the last few games, and he'll be somebody that's stuck in Pep's mind as well.
There's a little bit of Riyad Mahrez about him when he gets the ball. Obviously opposite sides, opposite foot. But the way he mixes it up, the way, you want your wingers to mix it up all the time. Don't be predictable, that's what you say. And 1 minute he's going inside, the next minute he's going outside, and he's constantly asking questions of the fullback.
Yeah, it's really fantastic to see. Another player as well we mentioned, and some of his hold-up for play for me in this half was sensational, but Cole Palmer, I mean... Paul, I mean, can we say enough about his awareness, his touch, and actually kind of how he's shrugging off these players at still such a young age?
Do you know, it's just so natural to him.
Yes.
When the ball goes into him, his first touch sticks to him, he's always got his head up as well. And what I like about it, when he's not got the ball, he's always looking to go into little pockets to cause problems. But,
yes.
We were saying he's sort of playing as a 10, but what he's doing is he's sucking both centre halves into him to allow the spaces. We've seen Cancelo getting behind a few times, we've seen Mahrez getting behind, and that's because he's so clever for his movement. And when he gets the ball sticks to his feet. And what I like about him more, for a young kid, he's so positive.
Yes.
He's got a little bit of arrogance about him, which I love, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
He wants to make things happen every time he gets the ball.
And Sean, we've seen it now. This is 3 games he's done it, but his turn of pace as well is probably quicker than most people think.
Yeah, his turn of pace, but his ability to bowl there was a cute little clever. Now you see me, now you don't. I'm going left you for dead. And rating these areas here, I'd like to see him. It's been very effective, but I'd like to see him get more balls right in that pocket, facing the centre halves. I think it's been in wide areas where we're sliding him down the side and he's having a cross. I like to see him somehow get balls central to be able to commit the centre half and say what you got, because his dribbling ability is absolutely brilliant.
I mean, we know, of course, that Palmer has been said he's going to be joining the first team from next season. Given Edozie's last 3 games now, do you think then, and Sean, you alluded to it, is he in contention to start in the Community Shield, do you think, Paul?
I think his performances have showed that. We spoke at the start of the show about putting down a marker, and he's certainly done that. He's not let himself down. He's scoring goals, which what Pep wants from his wide players. Look, don't get me wrong, the competition come the start of the season that he's going to have in front of him. But the experience of being out here and scoring goals and the confidence that will give him will do them the world of good going into the season. And
I guess now looking towards the second half, Sean, there'll probably be some changes as we've seen in most games, kind of freshen up some legs, but hopefully seeing some more of those young players on the bench as well come and maybe give Pep another bit of a headache to think about.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be changes, but again, because we're We're very close to the Community Shield. I'd probably think some players will be still getting around 60 minutes.
Right.
And again, I think he'll be looking to see that pattern, that build up from the back, working that a bit better. Again, Mendy with a couple of passes being cut out, and I think he'll be wanting to make sure we get those passes there, because once we get that pass into that player, all of a sudden it's like we're counter-attacking, and it's so explosive. So I think if we get that tidied up, I've loved it, because every season I come and I watch City, I learned something from Pep, and right here tonight I'm watching fullbacks tuck in, and it's just changed the dimension. And once we tidy up those passes, it's going to be 2-3 passes, and we're like, oh, 101 on the edge of their box, just like that.
Well, hopefully all of that's come in the second half. If you want to see some of that, fingers crossed, City Plus is the place you can do it. Just subscribe and you can enjoy the second half. And you'll also be able to enjoy a new documentary film coming to City Plus very soon that looks like this. Remember, joining us at full time as well. We'll get into all the action and hopefully be talking about more City goals. Come on, City.
I know we are nervous. I'm nervous. I admit it. I'm nervous. But I know we are ready. Okay? Let's go outside, enjoy together, and let's be excited. Come on!
What we have done so far, we deserve to be in the position that we are right now.
This is a very special group. I've been part of many teams over the years, but this group has the togetherness, the closeness.
The basic step to a successful team, it's the relationships.
It was a good moment. Did you film it?
We filmed it.
Yeah, good.
We've got it.
Ciao, my way, Pep as well.
Sometimes the plan doesn't work. Sometimes the plan doesn't work.
How did we lose that game, bro?
What we have to do is please give up. Keep going, guys. Stick together. We fought a lot for this moment. Don't drop it now.
Pep Guardiola has conjured up another trophy.
Premier League is the best. The Premier League is the best title.
Different gravy.
Such an important figure in the history of this club, and I think one of the greatest.
Exactly what everyone wanted to see.
Maybe you don't realize what we have done so far. Maybe you're gonna realize when you are sitting there with your kids, with your grandchild, you know. Because now you're the dynamic is like you don't stop, you know.
What a goal! Look at that!
This was an incredible season, what we've accomplished together. We need to be proud, we need to be together in winning, and you need to be together in losing.